If you have a 1990 to 1996 Corvette with a manually adjustable passenger seat you'd like to swap out for a power adjustable one, this video is for you. To do this swap, you basically need two things: a late 1987 to 1996 Corvette power seat track and a dual power seat switch. Keep in mind, Chevrolet changed the plug design on the power seat track halfway through the 1987 model year, so you gotta make sure you get a mid-year 87 track or later. Eckler's and Corvette America carry them for about $300 all in with shipping. eBay and Facebook Marketplace have them for less. The dual power seat switch is a tougher putt. Parts vendors don't have them, and the switch you'll need will only work on 1990 to 1996 Corvettes. But wait, there's more. There's switches for cars with the electronic ride control and switches for cars without the adjustable suspension, like our car. You can find them on eBay or Marketplace. You can find someone who's parting out a car, too. Try the various online Corvette forums as well for someone who may have a stockpile of parts. Also of note, Chevrolet changed the switch design in 1994, but 1994 to 1996 switches will work on 1990 to 1993 Corvettes. Best bet, get a switch that's specific to your model year. Because, when you go to sell your car, some Corvette Yahoo will notice you have a, for instance, 1995 switch in your 92. And we can't have that now, can we? Both types of switches will work if your car has the standard seats like ours or the optional sports seats with the inflatable bolsters. You know, those darn sports seats that always stop working correctly? The bladders either stop holding air or the switches on the bolsters go on the fritz. Or both. Now, I hadn't planned on doing this swap. I was looking for replacement seat cushions for my driver's side seat. Amazing how much people wanted for seats that were as bad off or worse than what I had. You can't buy just one from an online vendor. You have to buy two, and that will run you about $1,500 plus shipping. I lucked out and found a set of nice ones over in Buffalo, priced reasonably. Only problem was they reeked of cigarettes and cigars. They've been sitting in baking soda now for over 6 months. The guy threw in the power seat tracks and dual power seat switch as a bonus. So, let's get at it. This conversion is not complicated. In a nutshell, you're removing the single seat switch and replacing it with the two-seat switch. The harness for the two-seat switch plugs directly into the same harness the single seat switch harness was plugged into. Swap out the manual seat track and drop in the power seat track. Biggest challenge is getting inside the console to remove the old switch without breaking anything. First, you'll have to remove the shifter console top. There are 3 8mm screws holding it down. One under the ashtray, 2 back here under the console storage bin lid. To get it over the shifter, you'll need to remove the shifter boot, which is attached to the bottom of this thing with 4 T15 screws. I wouldn't take the shifter knob off to do this. Much easier to just take the boot off. That shifter knob is a tough spring-loaded sucker to remove, let alone get it back on and have it work right. No sense in overcomplicating this project if you don't have to. T15 wrenches are available at auto parts or home improvement stores as part of the set. To make this easier, which I didn't, unplug the cigarette lighter before you remove the screws for the boot cover. It's on with 3 plastic tabs. Then I take the screws out for the boot cover. I did the reverse, naturally. That prong there is for the gear indicator that goes into the shaft for the shifter itself. That bulb lights up the console. It screws into the bottom back of the shifter console top. Mechanic's trick: you take a bolt, nut, or screw out, put it back where it was. You'll never remember where they go if you don't. Next, unplug the release switch for either the hatchback lid or, on convertibles like ours, what we call the tonneau cover. Make note of where the wires go. On our car, the yellow wire goes on the connection facing the cigarette lighter. I don't know if it makes a difference or not. I wouldn't risk it. Make sure you have the battery disconnected too. The doors being open all the time will run the battery down pretty quick. You also don't want to risk anything either when you're yanking on plugs and whatnot. Trust me on that one. To get the old switch out, remove the 4 8mm screws around it to start. You will not be able to pull it out right now because the harness to the seat, which runs down the side of the drive shaft tunnel on the driver's side, is still connected to the seat track. Next, we pull the seats. Both sides, y'all. Pull the lower seat cushions out first. There's a spring-like latch under the front of the cushions you need to dislodge. Pull the latch forward and drop it down. The cushion then comes out. Simple, but a pain in the neck. Good news is you don't have to remove the back cushion to remove the seat. To get the track out, you gotta remove the bucket. There are 4 bolts holding the bucket down to the track on both sides. I used a 1/2-inch socket to get them out, put them back into the track so you don't lose them. Then we pull the rack under the seat. I reconnected my battery to move the seat into position to get the bolts out. Then I disconnected it again. You'll need to remove the jack handle behind the driver's seat too. P.S. I would never use the factory jack to change a tire on this car. There are these darn covers over the front bolts that have your typical GM plastic fasteners. They're reusable if you don't mess them up when you're taking them out. Again, put them back in so you don't lose them because you know you will. If you want, you will need to get these covers for the passenger side power seat track since the manually adjustable track didn't come with them. They're about $50 new with shipping. I ain't gonna bother with that. On the passenger side, after you take the seat out, just unbolt the manual rack from the floor. I left that Phillips head screw in there. Does nothing but reinforce the military-grade adhesive that holds this carpeting onto the driveshaft tunnel. Sorry, this is so gross in here. Yes, dear, I eventually shop vac this clean. The seatbelt's gotta come out too so you can peel the tunnel cover trim back. That's a T50 and these bolts are in tight. Best to tap that T50 in gently with a rubber mallet. You strip these and the project is over. Go slow. Take all of the 8mm screws off the top of the driveshaft tunnel here, and you'll be able to get access you need to the inside of the tunnel. Best to remove the console lid door too. You don't want that thing flopping around and you accidentally bend the hinge, or worse. Now here's the heart of the project. That's the harness from the switch to the track for the seat. You'll need to unplug that, and the new switch will plug right into it. Reconnect the battery and test it before you install it for good. You don't want to put this all back together and have one of the switches not work. You haven't done anything that can't be reversed anyway, but still, what a waste of time if this stuff doesn't work. Do the same on the passenger side with your new power seat track. Very satisfying to hear that little whir of the motor and see the track move. Next, we snake the cable through the tunnel and through the slit on the carpet that should already be there even on the passenger side. I made mine a little larger to make things easier. Sorry, I got into the zone and I forgot to record that process. I used my electrician snake to help it through. Be gentle and again go slow. No sense rushing this. Last thing you'd want to do at this point is damage the harness. The carpet should come up enough to give you somewhat easy access. Repeat this process on the driver's side. Put it all back together and voila! You now have a power passenger seat in your 1990 to 1996 Chevrolet Corvette. I hope this video was of use to you. I love having a power passenger seat in our car now. It not only adds to the enjoyment of the car, I think it increases the resale value a little too. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.